The Book of Jubilees, chapter 9 and 10, with precepts to the King James Version Bible, Numbers 33, verse 54, Jeremiah 3:18, 12:14, 16:18, Ezekiel 45, 47, and 48, and Genesis 11, 1 through 9, and also the Book of Asher, chapters 9, verses 20 through 39. First, we want to make note of this warning from Jubilees chapter 9, verse 15. Cursed be the nations, the people that steals land that doesn't belong to them by oath from the beginning. Jubilees chapter 9, verse 15. Noah divided into their sons in the presence of Noah their father, and he bound them all by an oath, imprecating a curse on every one that sought to seize the portion which had not fallen to him by his lot. And they all said, So be it, so be it. Amen, amen. For themselves and their sons forever throughout their generations till the day of judgment, on which mighty God Ahiah El Elohi shall judge them with the sword and with fire for all the unclean wickedness of their errors, wherewith they have filled the earth with transgression and uncleanness and fornication and sin. Now let's get started. The Book of Jubilees, chapter 9. And Ham divided amongst his sons, and the first portion came for Cush toward the east, and to the west of him for Mizraim, and to the west of him for Put, and to the west of him and to the west thereof on the sea for Canaan. And Shem also divided amongst his sons, and the first portion came forth for Ham and his sons to the east of the river Tigris, till it approaches the east, the whole land of India, and on the Red Sea on its coast, and the waters of Dedan, and all the mountains of Membri and Elah, and all the land of Suzan, and all that is on the side of Frontenac to the Red Sea and the river Tina. And for Asher came forth the second portion, all the land of Asher and Nineveh, and Shinar, and to the borders of India, and it ascends and skirts the river. And for Apakshad came forth the third portion, all the land of the region of the Chaldees, to the east of the Euphrates, bordering on the Red Sea, and all the waters of the desert close to the tongue of the sea, which looks toward Egypt, all the land of Lebanon, and Sanir, and Amana, to the border of Euphrates. And for Aram there came forth the fourth portion, all the land of Mesopotamia between Tigris and the Euphrates, to the north of the Chaldees, to the border of the mountains of Ashur, and the land of Arara. And there came forth for Lud the fifth portion, the mountains of Ashur, and all appertaining to them, till it reaches the great sea, and till it reaches the east of Ashur his brother. And Japheth also divided the land of his inheritance amongst his sons. And the first portion came forth for Gomer to the east from the north side to the river Tina, and in the north there came forth for Magog all the inner portions of the north, until it reaches to the sea of Mead. And for Madiah came forth as his portion, that he should possess from the west of his two brothers to the islands, and to the coast of the islands. And for Javan came forth the fourth portion, every island, and the islands which are toward the border of Lud. And for Tubal there came forth the fifth portion in the midst of the tongue, which approaches toward the border of the portion of Lud, to the second tongue, to the region beyond the second tongue, unto the third tongue. And for Meshach came forth the sixth portion, all the region beyond the third tongue, till it approaches the east of Gadir. And for Tyrus there came forth the seventh portion, fourth great islands in the midst of the sea, which reach to the portion of Ham, and the islands of Kamaturi came out by lot for the sons of Apakshad as his inheritance. And thus the sons of Noah divided into their sons in the presence of Noah their father, and Noah bound them all by an oath, imprecating curse on every one that sought to seize the portion which had not fallen to him by his lot. And they all said, So be it, for themselves and their sons forever throughout their generations, till the day of judgment, on which Ahiah El Elohi, our mighty God, should judge them with the sword and with fire for all the unclean wickedness of their errors, wherewith they have filled the earth with transgression and uncleanness and fornication and sin. Now the witness to that is Numbers 33:54 in the King James Bible version. And ye shall dispossess the inhabitants of the land and dwell therein, for I have given you the land to possess it. And you shall divide the land by lot for an inheritance among your families. And to the more you shall give, the more inheritance, and to the fewer you shall give, the less inheritance. Every man's inheritance shall be in the place where his lot falleth, according to the tribes of your fathers you shall inherit. But if you will not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall come to pass that those which you let remain of them shall be pricked in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and shall vex you in the land wherewith you dwell. Jeremiah 3:18 from the King James Version Bible. In those days the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance to your fathers. Jeremiah 12:14. Thus says El Elohim against all my evil neighbors that touch the inheritance which I have caused my people Israel to inherit. Behold, I will pluck them out of their land and pluck out the houses of Judah from among them. Jeremiah 16:18, King James Version Bible. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled my inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. Ezekiel 45:1. Moreover, when you shall divide by lot the land for your inheritance, you shall offer an oblation unto El Elohim, mighty God Ahia, and holy portion of the land. The length shall be the length of 25,000 reeds, and the breadth shall be 10,000. This shall be holy in all the borders thereof round about. Ezekiel 47:14. And you shall inherit it one as well as another, concerning that which I lift up my hand to give it unto your fathers, and this land shall fall unto you for an inheritance. Ezekiel 48 verses 19 through 35, King James Version. And they that serve the city shall serve it out of all the tribes of Israel, and the oblation shall be 25,000 by 25,000. You shall offer the holy oblation foursquare with the possession of the city, and the residue shall be for the prince on the one side and on the other of the holy oblation, and of the possession of the city over against the 25,000 of the oblation toward the east border, and the westward over against the 25,000 toward the west border, over against the portions for the prince, and it shall be the holy oblation, and the sanctuary of the house shall be in the midst thereof. Moreover, from the possession of the Levites and from the possession of the city being in the midst of that which is the prince, between the border of Judah and the border of Benjamin, shall be for the prince. As for the rest of the tribes, from the east side unto the west side, Benjamin shall have a portion. And by the border of Benjamin, from the east side unto the west side, Simeon shall have a portion. And by the border of Simeon, from the east side unto the west side, Issachar a portion. And by the border of Issachar, from the east side unto the west side, Zebulun a portion. And by the border of Zebulun, from the east side unto the west side, Gad a portion. And by the border of Gad at the south side, southward, the border shall be even from Tamar unto the waters of strife in Kadesh, and to the river toward the great sea. This is the land which you shall divide by lot unto the tribes of Israel for an inheritance, and these are their portions, said El Elohim, mighty God Ahia. And these are the goings out of the city on the north side, 4,500 measures. And the gates of the city shall be after the names of the tribes of Israel, 3 gates northward, 1 gate of Reuben, 1 gate of Judah, 1 gate of Levi. And at the east side 4,500, and 3 gates, and 1 gate of Joseph, 1 gate of Benjamin, 1 gate of Dan. And at the south side 4,500 measures, and 3 gates, 1 gate of Simeon, 1 gate of Issachar, 1 gate of Zebulun. At the west side 4,500 with their 3 gates, 1 gate for Gad, 1 gate for Asher, 1 gate for Naphtali. It was round about 18,000 measures, and the names of the cities from the day shall be El Elohim is there. Now the book of Jubilees chapter 10, the naming of the land of Canaan stolen by Ham and sons, and the Tower of Babel events. Chapter 10, the book of Jubilees. And in the third week of this Jubilee, the unclean demons began to lead astray the children of the sons of Noah, and to make error and destroy them. And the sons of Noah came to Noah their father, and they told him concerning the demons which were leading astray, and blinding and slaying his sons. And he prayed before Ahiah El Elohi, and said, El Elohi Ahiah of the spirits of all flesh, who has shown mercy upon me, and has saved me and my sons from the waters of the flood, and has not caused me to perish at thou the sons of perdition. For thy grace has been great toward me, and great has been thy mercy to my soul. Let thy grace be lifted up upon my sons, and let not wicked spirits rule over them, lest they should destroy them from the earth. But do thou bless me and my sons, that we may increase and multiply and replenish the earth. And thou knowest how thy watchers, the father of these spirits, acted in my day. And as for these spirits which are living, imprison them and hold them fast in the place of condemnation, and let them not bring destruction on the sons of thy servant, my El Elohi Ahiah. For these are malignant and created in order to destroy. And let them not rule over the spirits of the living, for thou alone canst exercise dominion over them. And let them not have power over the sons of the righteous from henceforth and forevermore. And Ahiah El Elohi, our mighty God, bade us to bind all. And the chief of the spirits, Mestema, came and said, El Elohi Ahiah, Creator, let some of them remain before me, and let them hearken to my voice, and do all that I shall say unto them. For if some of them are not left to me, I shall not be able to execute the power of my will on the sons of men. For these are for corruption and leading astray before my judgment, for great is the wickedness of the sons of men. Mestema is Satan. And he said, let the 10th part of them remain before him, and let 9 parts descend into the place of condemnation. And one of us he commanded that we should teach Noah all their medicines, for he knew that they would not walk in uprightness, nor strive in righteousness. And we did according to all his words. All the malignant evil ones we bound in the place of condemnation, and a 10th part of them we left, that they might be subject before Satan on the earth. And we explained to Noah all the medicines of their diseases, together with their seductions, how he might heal them with herbs of the earth. And Noah wrote down all the things in a book, as we instructed him concerning every kind of medicine. Thus the evil spirits were precluded from hurting the sons of Noah, and he gave all that he had written to Shem, his eldest son, for he loved him exceedingly above all his sons. And Noah slept with his fathers, and was buried on Mount Lubar in the land of Ariad. 950 years he completed in his life, 19 jubilees in 2 weeks and 5 years, 1659 a.m. Anno Monday. And in his life on earth he excelled the children of men, save Enoch, because of the righteousness wherein he was perfect. For Enoch's office was ordained for a testimony to the generations of the world, so that he should recount all the deeds of generations unto generation, till the day of judgment. And in the 33rd Jubilee, in the first year, in the 2nd week, Peleg took to himself a wife, whose name was Lamna, the daughter of Sinear, and she bare him a son in the 4th year of this week, and he called his name Ru. For he said, behold, the children of men have become evil through the wicked purpose of building for themselves a city and a tower in the land of Shinar. For they departed from the land of Ariad eastward to Shinar, for in his days they built the city and the tower, saying, go to, let us ascend thereby into heaven. Now the precept to that is in Genesis 11, chapters 1 through 9. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And Ahiah El Elohi, mighty God, came down to see the city and the tower of Babel, which the children of men build. And Ahiah El Elohi said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So El Elohi Ahiah, our mighty God, scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, which means confusion, because El Elohi Ahiah did there confound their language of all the earth, and from thence did Ahiah scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. Now continuing on back to the book of Jubilees, chapter 10, verses 20 through 30. And they began to build, and in the 4th week they made brick with fire, and the bricks served them for one stone, and the clay with which they cemented them together was asphalt, which comes out of the sea, and out of the fountains of water in the land of Shinar. And they built it 43 years, 1645 through 1688 a.m. and on Monday were they building it. Its breadth was 203 bricks, and the height of a brick was the third of one. Its height amounts to 5433 cubits and 2 palms. And the extent of one wall was 13 stades, and of the other 30 stades. And Ahiah our El Elohi, our mighty God, said unto us, Behold, they are one people, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be withholden from them. Go to, let us go down, and confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech, and they may be dispersed into cities and nations, and one purpose will no longer abide with them till the day of judgment. And El Elohi Ahiah descended, and we descended with him to see the city and the tower which the children of men had built. And he confounded their language, and they no longer understood one another's speech, and they ceased then to build the city and the tower. For this reason the whole land of Shinar is called Babel, because El Elohi Ahiah did there confound all the language of the children of men, and from thence they were dispersed into their cities, each according to his language and his nation. And El Elohi Ahiah sent a mighty wind against the tower, and overthrew it upon the earth, and behold, it was between Ashur and Babylon in the land of Shinar. And they called its name Overthrow in the 4th week in the 1st year, 1688 a.m. In the beginning thereof, in the 4th and 30th Jubilee, were they dispersed from the land of Shinar. The book of Asher, chapters 9, verses 20 through 39, precept and detail. And King Nimrod reigned securely, and all the earth was under his control, and all the earth was of one tongue and words of union. And all the princes of Nimrod and his great men took counsel together, put Mizraim, Cush, and Canaan with their families. And they said to each other, Come, let us build ourselves a city, in it a strong tower, and its top reaching heaven, and we will make ourselves famed, so that we may reign upon the whole world, in order that the evil of our enemies may cease from us, that we may reign mightily over them, and that we may not become scattered over the earth on account of their wars. And they all went before the king, and they told the king these words, and the king agreed with them in this affair. And he did so. And all the families assembled, consisting of about 600,000 men, and they went to seek an extensive piece of ground to build the city and the tower. And they sought in the whole earth, and they found none like one valley at the east of the land of Shinar, about 2 days' walk. And they journeyed there, and they dwelt there. And they began to make brick and burn fires to build the city and the tower that they had imagined to complete. And the building of the tower was unto them a transgression and a sin, and they began to build it. And whilst they were building against Ahiah El Elohi of heaven, they imagined in their hearts to war against him and to ascend into heaven. And all these people and all the families divided themselves in 3 parts. The first said, We will ascend into heaven and fight against him, mighty God Ahiah. The second said, We will ascend to heaven and place our own gods there and serve them. And the third part said, We will ascend to heaven and smite him, El Elohi Ahiah, with bows and spears. And Elohim knew all their works and all their evil thoughts, and he saw the city and the tower which they were building. And when they were building, they built themselves a great city and a very high and strong tower. And on account of its height, the mortar and bricks did not reach the builders in their ascent to it, until those who went up had completed a full year. And after that they reached to the builders and gave them the mortar and the bricks. Thus was it done daily. And behold, these ascended and others descended the whole day. And if a brick should fall from their hands and get broken, they would all weep over it. And if a man fell and died, none of them would look at him. And Elohim knew their thoughts, and it came to pass when they were building, they cast the arrows toward the heavens, and all the arrows fell upon them filled with blood. And when they saw them, they said to each other, Surely we have slain all those that are in heaven. For this was from Elohim in order to cause them to err, and in order to destroy them from off the face of the ground. And they built the tower and the city, and they did this thing daily until many days and years were elapsed. And Elohim said to the 70 angels who stood foremost before him, to those who were near to him, saying, Come, let us descend and confuse their tongues, that one man shall not understand the language of his neighbor. And they did so unto them. And from that day following, they forgot each man his neighbor's tongue, and they could not understand to speak in one tongue. And when the builders took from the hands of his neighbor lime or stone which he did not order, the builder would cast it away and throw it upon his neighbor, that he would die. And they did so many days, and they killed many of them in this manner. And Elohim, Almighty God, smote the 3 divisions that were there, and he punished them according to their works and designs. Those who said, We will ascend to heaven and serve our gods, became like apes and elephants. And those who said, We will smite the heaven with arrows, Elohim killed them, one man through the hand of his neighbor. And the 3rd division of those who said, We will ascend to heaven and fight against him, scattered them throughout the earth. And those who were left among them, when they knew and understood the evil which was coming upon them, they forsook the building, and they also became scattered upon the face of the whole earth. And they ceased building the city and the tower. Therefore he called the place Babel, for there Elohim, mighty God, confounded the language of the whole earth. Behold, it was at the east of the land of Shinar. And as to the tower which the sons of men built, the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up 1/3 part thereof, and a fire also descended from heaven and burned another third, and the other third is left to this day. And it is of that part which was aloft, and its circumference is 3 days' walk. And many of the sons of men died in that tower, a people without number. Now, continuing back to the book of Jubilees, chapter 10, verses 30 through 36. And Ham and his sons went into the land which he was to occupy, which he acquired as his portion in the land of the south. And Canaan saw that the land of Lebanon to the river of Egypt, that it was very good, and he went not into the land of his inheritance, to the west, that is, to the sea. And he dwelt in the land of Lebanon, eastward and westward from the border of Jordan, and from the border of the sea. And Ham his father, and Cush and Mizraim his brother, said unto him, Thou hast settled in a land which is not thine, and which did not fall to us by lot. Do not do so, for if thou dost do so, thou and thy sons will fall in the land and be accursed through sedition. For by sedition you have settled, and by sedition will thy children fall, and thou shalt be rooted out forever. Dwell not in the dwelling of Shem, for to Shem and to his sons did it come by their lot. Cursed art thou, and cursed shalt thou be beyond all the sons of Noah, by the curse by which we bound ourselves by an oath in the presence of the holy judge, and in the presence of Noah our father. But he did not hearken unto them, and dwelt in the land of Lebanon from Hamath to the entering of Egypt, and he and his sons until this day, and for this reason that land is named Canaan. And Japheth and his sons went toward the sea, and dwelt in the land of their portion. And Midian saw the land of the sea, and it did not please him, and he begged a portion from Ham, and Ashur, and Apakshad, his wife's brother, and he dwelt in the land of Media, near to his wife's brother until this day. And he called his dwelling place and the dwelling place of his sons Media, after the name of their father Media. And that's the end of Jubilees chapters 9 and 10 with precepts in Genesis and the book of Asher. Thank you for listening.